everybody, my name is Coach Shane, and in this video I'm going to tell you about PIRF. PIRF is my speaking class, American English speaking. If you go online and you look up speaking or pronunciation, you'll find lots of teachers trying to teach this very difficult subject. How do you learn speaking? The only way to learn speaking is to be born and to listen to your mom and dad speaking, to imitate and grow up speaking. But as you know, learning a foreign language, it doesn't work like that. So, what I do is I look at the 4 key elements of speaking. And what are they? Well, they are PIRF, PIRF, so I say perfect English. PIRF, P, pronunciation. You've got to get the pronunciation. When I was studying the Korean language, if my pronunciation was just a little wrong, nobody understood me. Oh, it made me crazy. So I realized pronunciation is super important. And believe me, nobody teaches pronunciation like Coach Shane. So we spend a lot of time talking about pronunciation. But that's just part of it. The next step is intonation. Intonation. And that means which words in the sentence, in the story, are important. Now it might sound like an easy question, but when people are speaking, no, it's not that easy. So what I do is every week I give you an assignment, and in the intonation section I show you which words are important and I tell you why. And after you study this a couple of times in future lessons, you have a much easier time of understanding which words are most important. It sounds easy, but believe me, in the beginning, it's not. Then we go to rhythm, and rhythm is so important for storytelling, for speaking, for listening, and for pronunciation. Rhythm is very, very important. What does rhythm mean? Imagine you have a very long sentence. How do you read that sentence? Do you read it just da 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 da, or can you say da 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 da? Yes, of course. As you know, in American English, there's lots of rhythm. It's like a song, and we can break it into sections. And I teach that. How can you teach rhythm? It is probably the most difficult part of speaking to teach. But, once again, we have an excellent system. And in the beginning, I show you how it works. And students, okay, they get the feeling, but they can't do it on their own. However, after just a few weeks, the rhythm of students improves so much. For me, it's shocking. And it tells me that this is a really good method for teaching rhythm. And finally, flow. Flow means how fast, how slow to say it. Flow also includes using expressions and body language and energy and the volume of your voice. And I teach you how and why we do this and when we do this. And that ties it together. So once again, teaching a speaking course is really difficult. But with PIRF, everything is in a system. It's easy to follow, and every week you can check yourself and you can see your ability. And most importantly, you can hear your speaking ability improve. It's amazing. I'm very proud. We have students from every background, from every area, from retired people to high school students, mostly professional people. And the most common result that I get is they're speaking, after a couple of weeks of taking PIRF, they have a chance to speak English, and the American or the British person, the American says, wow, your English speaking is really good. What happened? Because they improved so much. The British person will say, are you American? And for my students, you know, sometimes being an American is not such a good thing, but sometimes it's also really good, and it's a wonderful compliment. So, yeah, PIRF is a great class. One point, why American English? Why should you study PIRF American English? Why not British English? You live in Europe, or your friend or your company is British. Why American English? Well, there is a reason, actually. I teach standard American pronunciation, and when I speak to somebody from Ireland, they understand immediately. From London, immediately. Scotland, immediately. Manchester, immediately. Canada, immediately. Hong Kong, a native English-speaking Chinese person in Hong Kong understands me. Australia, New Zealand, they all understand me when I'm speaking normal. But did you ever talk to an Irish person? Even as a native English speaker whose great-great-grandmother came from Ireland, when an Irish person speaks to me, I can't understand anything. It takes me about 5 minutes to tune in to what they're saying. The same thing in Australia, the same thing in some parts of the UK and New Zealand too. But once again, those people understand me. Why? Well, like it, love it, or hate it, Hollywood has a big impact. Pop songs, movies, television shows, a lot of it is obviously in American English. And the internet too. So much out there, video-wise and song MP3-wise, is American English. So it's best for you, even though you might have a British English background, it might be good for you to study American English. And PIRF is perfect for you. I have no question that PIRF is the perfect speaking class. So if you need to speak in English, if you want to sound like a human, if you want to be able to speak English naturally, to have that rhythm, to have that pronunciation, PIRF is the class for you. Okay? Give it a try. You have nothing to lose. Thanks a lot, and I hope to see you next week in class.